Okay, like I was saying, I took a bunch of little stringers of this black color, and I'm going to bleed this into some ivory color. So I just picked up this frit that's a black color, and on top of some clear, so it's not all black, but it's very, very dark. And I just stretched it off with the tweezers and broke off some pieces to make these little stringers that should be real easy to pick up because they'll heat up real fast. The instructions I read said not to overdo it with the color, so I'm not going to add anything too thick, and I don't want to add too much. So I've just got a little pile of it here, just going to pick it up, and I guess you just need plenty of space between the black and or just between the black pieces so you notice the bleed through. So I got not powder ivory, but the smallest thing that they sold. I also bought some color bar ivory, so that's another possibility. In fact, maybe the next piece I'll pick up a piece of the color bar and just dab on a few pieces of the frit, really heat it up and see how that does too. So in order to get as much heat as possible without my new oxypropane torch that's coming soon, I'm going to go ahead and use this torch too. Turn it on and just see if I want to use it anyway. So it'll be ready for me, and just in case I need it. And as far as shape goes, I'm going to go for something similar to what I did last time. That's a pretty easy shape to get, and it'll really show off the color nicely if it works. So I think on this I'll just do 2 straight gathers. I'm not going to do that layering effect. I just want to show off the color effect here. So it could go even faster than that one did. So we got a nice starter bubble, and yeah, I'll just really get a bunch of that ivory frit on here. In the next gather, if I do anything with the black color, I might grab it with the tweezers and try to move it around a little bit, stretch it out, and see if that helps get any interesting color effects. Ah, shoot. For some reason the door just keeps wanting to pop back down, and it caught me by surprise that time, and I caught some of the material that's on the inside there. I may just start over if I can't clean this up. Too bad. So I just got to go up with it a little slower. It didn't move or anything. I don't know why it would have changed like that. It cleaned up pretty good though. Yeah, let's just go with it. Got a good bubble here, so just keep going. Make sure I got a good shape. Looks good. All right. Nice and slow up there. bunch of this ivory now. Whoops. I don't know why that wasn't available in a powder. Just didn't make any, I guess, or sold out or something. Color bar definitely looks ivory. This stuff doesn't look like much. It's funny. It just looks like off-white. I guess I'll get a little bit more and then pick up some of that stringer and just kind of see what it does. Probably really burn it in like I did with the other stuff there. Missed a couple spots. It's definitely melting in. It really went in there quick. That black is just so hot. With the oxypropane torch, I could get that just blazing hot. It's just like a bead torch, except I hold it with my hand, and I could focus that heat right on those pieces of hot glass. But it looks like it's doing some interesting stuff. It's not yet bleeding into it like I'm hoping it will. One thing that may help that is just getting another gather of glass, which I plan to do. You know, we'll just kind of work it here and see what happens. I don't know if you can see that. This is kind of mirroring the glass. If you do it when it's a little cooler, it really hits the outside surface and gives it a neat mirror finish on glasses that strike. Kind of looks like Asian writing on there or something right now. It's kind of interesting. But when you put it back from that mirrored finish back into a nice oxidizing or neutral flame environment, like I try to achieve with the glory hole, it'll just get rid of it. And I read the other day that an electric furnace is oftentimes very oxidizing environment. So some of the colors that people try to achieve making glass can't be done in an electric furnace. Although I imagine there's things you could do to create a reducing environment. But this is looking pretty interesting. I'll play with it a little bit here with my tweezers. Just grab the glass and kind of move it around, pull it out and in. Ivory is interesting. It's got some kind of a weird sheen to it. I'll bet it'd look neat sprayed with the stannous chloride iridizing agent. Kind of rainbows the colors. It looks like it really set up nice for that. But I'll just see what that did and then shape this up and get ready to get another gather. That ivory would make a neat lampshade for sure. But with the light coming through it would be neat. Kind of like a swirly chocolate or ice cream with chocolate in there. Definitely what that looks like. To me, it's always interesting too to see how things retain the color, texture, and everything after you blow it out, stretch everything out so much. The black is pretty dense, so it might do a good job of keeping its color noticeable in a bigger piece, even when applied at this early stage. Make sure I still got a bubble. Yep, she's in there. See that glass expand. Yeah, you can see the black where it's on top of the other color. It's kind of giving a bubbling effect, like it's spreading out. So it's going to be interesting to see after we blow this out a little bit what that does. Maybe really cool. I just hope there's enough of the ivory underneath to stay dark enough to not just get so thin and transparent that you don't even notice it. Not nearly as much glass as last time. And I think it's going to be much more behaved than last time. Probably go for a little trickier piece here, maybe a double neck. It's blowing out nice. Nice neckline. Gonna get my blow hose out. Got a new mouthpiece for this. Make it a lot easier to use. Definitely got some interesting looking stuff going on in the color, not just like laying on color and seeing the shape of it. There's some chemistry going on. black are so hot, the glass really thins out wherever the black is. So now I gotta be real careful because it's wanting to thin out up at the top. I hope it's not too thin already in those spots. Just trying to shape it out now. I blew it out a little bit too much, and now it's going to be tough with it being so thin to make it a little bit less wide at the top. There it goes. So much easier with this new mouthpiece, I gotta tell you. I think I love this pad. It's amazing. Wow. I'm going to take care of that thing. So just keep it wet. flatten the bottom now. More heat into the neck, make me feel better. Pretty centered the way it was turning there. It's pretty. That blew out a lot at the top, so it actually blew my jack line out and made it harder to knock off just then. I'll tell you what, it seems like it's really centered already. It's nice. I'm going to tweeze that out a little bit so I have a little bit more to work with there at the top. Got to be careful. This is the end that wants to get real hot and thin with all that black, the thick black up there. It's going to be tricky. I'd like to shape it up a little bit more too up there. It got kind of out of whack with all that heat. And we'll see. This may not be very easy to keep all in one piece here as far as the shape. Thin glass just soaks up the heat, gets molten, and starts moving around, which I think it's doing right now. Just don't want it to do it too much. Just gonna have to do that again. But I think I'll be able to get it with that koozie and smooth it out real nice. Like on the last thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to smooth that out and then work that very top of it. But first I'm going to try to stretch this out and get a nice trim line put in so it's really even up there at the top. It's tricky when you got to reach out that far to do that, but it's not a real big piece, so not too bad. Hang it down, let it stretch out a little bit, add a little length to it, and now I'll just do the same thing I was doing before, except I got a lot more heat here. Almost lost the hole there. It's a little thin up there now. I'm gonna have to play with that. It's like the very end of it just wanted to pull out, not the rest of it. So I just got to trim it back a little bit more. It's not a lot to work with, but it's pretty thin up there, so I'm not going to try to pull it out anymore. Got to get a shape started on that. Just going to open it up a little bit. Really not bad right there. I just got to straighten it up a little bit. I think that's going to do it. It's very light. leaving that chunk of putty on there. Gotta put them in upside down, but it looked pretty good. So a couple nice pieces, interesting colors. And I'm gonna get a drink, take a little break, and get back after it. Probably try that Ivory bar next.